The sun shone brightly on Meadowbrook Airport, a small, friendly place where everyone knew everyone. Today, though, there was extra excitement in the air. Flight 123 from London was due any minute. Sam, a ground crew member, bounced on the balls of his feet. He adjusted his bright orange vest, a smile playing on his lips. Today wasn't just any day. His wife, Sarah, and their 2 kids, Lily and Tom, were on that flight. They'd been visiting Sarah's family in England, and Sam had missed them terribly. He pictured Lily's missing tooth grin and Tom's endless questions about airplanes. He glanced at the sky, a tiny silver speck growing larger. "Almost here," he whispered, his heart doing a little flutter kick. He couldn't wait to wrap his arms around them all. The plane was coming in for a smooth landing. The plane touched down gently, a perfect landing. Sam watched as it taxied smoothly toward the gate, its silver body gleaming in the sunlight. Everything seemed perfectly normal. The flaps lowered, the engines whined down, and the big jet turned gracefully, guided by the orange cones. Sam checked his watch, impatience bubbling inside him. He could almost see Lily and Tom pressing their faces against the window, waving. He imagined Sarah's tired but happy smile. He noticed a couple of other ground crew members going through their usual routines, attaching the ramp and preparing for the passengers to disembark. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The plane rolled to a complete stop right on schedule. Just a few more minutes, Sam thought, and they'd be home. Sam picked up his radio. "Flight 123, this is ground control. Ready for disembarkation." He waited, but there was only static. He tried again, a little louder. "Flight 123, ground control, do you copy?" Still nothing. A frown creased his forehead. This wasn't right. Usually, the pilot responded immediately. Maybe there was a minor technical glitch. He tried a third time, his voice edged with concern. "Flight 123, ground control, please respond." The silence stretched, thick and unsettling. He glanced at the other crew members. They were looking at each other, puzzled. One of them shrugged. Sam felt a knot forming in his stomach. Something was definitely wrong. This was more than just a little delay. A shiver ran down his spine, despite the warm sun. "I'm going in," Sam announced, his voice tight. He couldn't shake the feeling of dread. Another crew member, a burly man named Dave, nodded grimly. "I'll come with you." They approached the plane's entrance, the ramp already in place. Sam took a deep breath and stepped inside. The airlock was silent. Too silent. He motioned for Dave to follow, and they walked down the short corridor into the main cabin. The silence was deafening. Usually there was the buzz of conversations, the rustling of bags, the excited chatter of people arriving home. But here, there was nothing. Just an unsettling stillness that made the hairs on Sam's arms stand on end. He swallowed hard, his heart pounding in his chest. This wasn't right at all. This was wrong. Sam's breath hitched in his throat. Row after row of empty seats stretched before him. The plane was completely deserted. Not a single passenger, not a single member of the flight crew. Just empty seats neatly arranged as if waiting for occupants who would never arrive. What is this?" Dave stammered, his voice barely a whisper. He ran a hand over a seat as if to assure himself it was real. Sam moved forward, his heart pounding in his ears. He peered down each aisle, desperately searching for a sign of life. Nothing. Just empty space. His eyes darted around, trying to make sense of the impossible scene. Where had everyone gone? It was as if they had simply vanished into thin air. But how? And why? He felt a wave of dizziness wash over him. This couldn't be happening. The mystery deepened with each step Sam took. On the seats, in the overhead compartments, scattered on the floor, belongings. A bright pink backpack lay slumped against a window, a half-eaten bag of pretzels beside it. A smartphone rested on a tray table, its screen dark. A crumpled jacket lay across another seat. "This is crazy," Dave muttered, picking up a child's stuffed animal. Where would everyone go without their stuff? Sam's eyes scanned the cabin, searching for any clue. A book lay open, a bookmark halfway through a page. A pair of glasses rested on the armrest. It was as if everyone had simply stood up and vanished, leaving their lives behind. A cold dread gripped Sam's heart. His family was on this plane. Where were they? Driven by a desperate hope, Sam pushed open the door to the pilot's cabin. It was just as empty as the rest of the plane. The pilot and co-pilot were gone. The seats were empty, the headsets lay on the console, and the controls were set for a normal landing. Everything was in its place, as if they had simply gotten up and walked away. But where could they have gone? Sam ran a hand over the smooth surface of the control panel. It was cold to the touch. "This makes no sense," Dave said, shaking his head. "They landed the plane perfectly, then just disappeared." Sam's mind raced. He had to find his family. But where did he even begin to look? The plane was a ghost ship, a silent testament to an impossible event. He felt a wave of despair wash over him. Chaos erupted at Meadowbrook Airport. Airport security swarmed the plane, their voices echoing in the empty cabin. Local police arrived, their sirens adding to the growing sense of panic. A thorough search of the plane began, every nook and cranny examined. Outside, officers fanned out across the airfield, searching the perimeter fence and the surrounding fields. Dogs sniffed the ground, their noses twitching, but they found nothing. No trace of the missing passengers or crew. It was as if they had simply ceased to exist. Sam watched, his heart sinking with each passing minute. The official search only confirmed his worst fears. They were gone. But where? And how could an entire plane full of people vanish without a trace? The mystery was deepening, and the answers seemed further away than ever. Whispers turned to shouts as news of the vanished passengers spread like wildfire through Meadowbrook Airport. Faces grew pale and eyes widened with disbelief. People huddled together, exchanging worried glances. Fear hung heavy in the air. The terminal, once filled with the happy anticipation of reunions, now echoed with anxious murmurs and hushed phone calls. Some wept openly, fearing for loved ones. Others paced back and forth, their faces etched with confusion. Sam stood apart from the crowd, his heart aching. He tried to call Sarah's phone, but it went straight to voicemail. He pictured Lily and Tom, their smiling faces now replaced by a chilling uncertainty. He had to find them. He just didn't know where to start. The growing panic only amplified his own desperate fear. As the hours passed with no new information, wild theories began to circulate. Some whispered about aliens, suggesting the passengers had been abducted by extraterrestrial beings. Others speculated about a secret government experiment gone wrong, claiming the plane had been part of a top-secret project. A few even suggested it was a mass hallucination, that everyone was imagining the whole thing. These outlandish explanations only added to the confusion and fear. Sam tried to ignore them, focusing on finding a real explanation. But the lack of any logical answer made even the craziest theories seem possible. He felt like he was trapped in a nightmare where the rules of reality no longer applied. He needed a clue, anything to break through the wall of mystery. Exhausted but determined, Sam returned to the plane, hoping to find something the police might have missed. He ran his hand along the underside of the seats, his fingers brushing against something small and smooth. He reached under and pulled it out. It was a stone unlike anything he had ever seen. It was small, about the size of his thumb, and it glowed with a soft, internal light. The color shifted between blue and green like the ocean on a sunny day. As he held it in his palm, he felt a strange warmth radiating from it. It wasn't hot, but comforting, like holding a warm cup of cocoa on a cold day. Could this strange object hold the key to the mystery? He held it tighter, a flicker of hope igniting within him. As Sam continued to hold the glowing stone, a strange sensation washed over him. The air around him seemed to shimmer, and the colors of the plane blurred. Suddenly, his mind was filled with a fleeting image, the cabin of the plane, but bathed in an intense, blinding light. He saw the passengers, their faces momentarily illuminated by the glow, before the light intensified and everything went white. The vision vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving Sam gasping for breath, his heart pounding. He stared at the stone in his hand, his mind reeling. He had seen something real. The stone had shown him what happened to the passengers. They were surrounded by a bright light. But what did it mean? What kind of light? And where did it take them? The stone held the answer, he was sure of it. The bright light, it was like a door, a gateway. Sam's mind raced, piecing together the vision and the strange properties of the stone. Could it be? Could the stone have created some kind of portal? A doorway to another place. The idea seemed impossible, ridiculous even. But what other explanation was there? The passengers hadn't simply walked off the plane, they had vanished. And the stone, this strange, glowing object, was somehow connected. He imagined the light engulfing the plane, ripping a hole in reality and transporting everyone to another dimension, another world. It was the only thing that made any sense. The stone didn't just make them disappear, it moved them. He had to find a way to understand the stone and reopen that portal. His family was out there somewhere. Sam knew he couldn't do this alone. He needed someone who understood science, someone who could explain the impossible. He thought of Dr. Evans, an old friend from school who was now a brilliant scientist. She worked at a nearby research lab, studying strange and unusual materials. He raced to her lab, clutching the stone tightly in his hand. He burst through the doors, his heart pounding. "Dr. Evans, I need your help." He explained everything, from the empty plane to the glowing stone and the vision. Dr. Evans listened intently, her eyes widening with each detail. When he finished, she took the stone from him, examining it with a mixture of curiosity and disbelief. "This is extraordinary, Sam. I've never seen anything like it." Maybe, just maybe, she could help him bring his family home. After hours of careful examination, Dr. Evans had a theory. "This stone," she explained, holding it up to the light, "could be an incredibly rare mineral, one we've only theorized about. It might have the ability to bend space and time." She continued, "Think of it like folding a piece of paper. Normally, 2 points on opposite sides are far apart. But if you fold the paper, you can bring them together. This stone might have created a temporary wormhole, a shortcut through space and time." "So, you're saying it opened a door?" Sam asked, his voice filled with hope. "Yes," Dr. Evans replied. "A temporary one. The energy probably dissipated quickly, which is why it closed. But if we can understand how it works, we might be able to reopen it." "It won't be easy," Dr. Evans warned, her brow furrowed. "We'll need to analyze the stone's composition, its energy output, everything. And even then, there's no guarantee we can recreate the conditions that open the portal." But Sam was undeterred. "We have to try," he said, his voice firm. "My family is out there. I can't give up." Dr. Evans nodded, her expression softening. "I understand. We'll work together. We'll figure this out." A renewed sense of hope filled Sam. He finally had a plan, a direction. He wasn't just waiting anymore, he was taking action. He would do everything in his power to bring his wife and children home, even if it meant bending the laws of physics. The possibility of their return, however slim, was enough to keep him going. Days blurred into nights as Sam and Dr. Evans worked tirelessly in the lab. They pored over scientific journals, ran countless experiments, and analyzed every aspect of the stone. They tried to recreate the conditions of the flight, the altitude, the speed, even the weather patterns from that day. Sam helped wherever he could, fetching equipment, taking notes, and offering his own observations from the vision he had experienced. He barely slept, driven by the image of his family surrounded by that blinding light. The pressure was immense. Every moment felt crucial. What if the passengers were in danger? What if the portal was closing permanently? They were racing against time, desperate to unlock the stone's secrets and bring everyone home. The air in the lab crackled with intensity, a mix of scientific curiosity and raw, unwavering hope. Finally, after days of relentless effort, a breakthrough. Dr. Evans adjusted a series of dials on a complex machine, and the stone began to glow brighter, pulsating with energy. The air shimmered and a faint humming filled the lab. Suddenly, a swirling vortex of light appeared in the center of the room. It was a portal, shimmering and unstable, but undeniably there. Blue and green light danced within its depths, echoing the colors of the stone. "It's working, Sam," Dr. Evans exclaimed, her voice filled with awe and relief. "We did it." Sam stared at the portal, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and elation. It was a doorway to the unknown, a chance to bring his family home. He had to believe it would work. He had to believe they were on the other side, waiting. A figure stumbled out of the shimmering portal, blinking in confusion. It was a woman looking dazed and disoriented. Then another appeared and another, until a stream of passengers began to emerge, one by one, from the swirling light. They looked around the lab, their faces etched with confusion. "Where are we?" one of them asked, his voice barely a whisper. "What happened?" another murmured, rubbing her head. Sam scanned the crowd, his heart pounding. Then he saw them, Lily, Tom, and Sarah. He rushed forward, tears streaming down his face. The passengers from Flight 123 had returned, but they had no memory of where they had been. All they knew was that one moment they were on a plane, and the next they were here. "Sarah!" Sam cried, rushing towards his wife. He wrapped her in a tight embrace, tears streaming down his face. "Lily! Tom!" He scooped up his children, hugging them close. "I missed you so much." Sarah held him tight, tears of relief flowing down her cheeks. "We're home, Sam. We're really home." Lily and Tom clung to their father, chattering excitedly, though they couldn't explain where they had been. The lab was filled with joyful cries and tearful reunions as families embraced, overwhelmed with relief. The impossible had happened. They were back. The fear and panic that had gripped Meadowbrook Airport were replaced by an overwhelming sense of joy and gratitude. It was a miracle. News of the miraculous return spread quickly, but the government soon stepped in. They launched a full investigation interviewing passengers, crew, and anyone connected to the event. But they couldn't find a logical explanation. The passengers' lack of memory only deepened the mystery. Dr. Evans, under strict orders, handed over all her research and the stone itself. The government, recognizing the stone's potential power, classified it as top secret, hiding it away in a secure facility. They erased all public records of Dr. Evans's involvement, and Sam was sworn to secrecy. The world would never know the truth about Flight 123. The official explanation remained unexplained circumstances. Life at Meadowbrook Airport slowly returned to normal. The fear subsided, replaced by a quiet sense of wonder. The story of Flight 123 became a local legend, a whispered tale of the impossible. The passengers tried to move on, to forget the missing hours. But they couldn't. They had dreams, fleeting images of bright lights and strange landscapes. A shared, unspoken memory of something extraordinary. Sam, too, carried the memory with him. He cherished every moment with his family, knowing how easily they could have been lost forever. He never spoke of the stone or the portal, but he knew the truth. And so did they. The passengers of Flight 123 were forever bound by their shared, inexplicable experience. Years later, after Dr. Evans had passed away, a package arrived for Sam. Inside was a letter from her and a small, familiar object, the glowing stone. She had secretly kept a replica, knowing the government would never understand its true potential or its danger. The letter urged Sam to keep it safe, to protect it from falling into the wrong hands. Sam knew what he had to do. He hid the stone in a secure place, a place only he knew about. He hoped it would never be used again. The power to bend space and time was too great, too unpredictable. He had seen the miracle it could create, but he also knew the chaos it could unleash. Some doors, he believed, were better left unopened. The story of Flight 123 serves as a reminder of the vast unknown that surrounds us. The universe is full of possibilities we can barely imagine, of forces we don't yet understand. It teaches us that even the most impossible things can happen, that reality is far more mysterious than we think. But more than that, it reminds us to cherish every moment, to hold our loved ones close. For we never know when they might be taken from us, whisked away to some unknown realm, even if only for a little while. Life is precious, a fragile gift, and every moment we have together is a treasure to be valued. So let us appreciate every hug, every smile, every shared laugh, for these are the moments that truly matter. Even with the happy ending, a question lingers in the air, unanswered and perhaps unanswerable. Where did the passengers of Flight 123 go during their brief disappearance? What did they experience in that other realm, that other dimension? Did they see strange and wonderful things? Did they encounter beings beyond our comprehension? Or was it simply a void, a blank space in time and reality? We may never know. Perhaps it's best that some mysteries remain unsolved, that some doors stay closed. For in the end, it's not about where we go, but about who we are with and the love that binds us together. The true miracle wasn't just their return, but the chance to cherish each other every single day. And that is a mystery worth celebrating.